Hey friends, Kelly here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am working on Project Life 2017 catch-up again. I'm working on week 32 and I'm using a kit from Citrus Twist Kits. This is the November 2019 kit, and bonus, it is currently on sale. So they still have some in stock, so if you're watching this today or in the next few days, you might want to bop over there and check it out, and I will make sure to link below. Okay, let's get started. So first thing I've done is I've gone through this pack of vellum stars and ephemera. There's speech bubbles and all kinds of cute things in there. I went through, pulled the stars and speech bubbles out. That's kind of the route I want to go. And then I'm just looking through the rest of the kit to start putting all of the pieces together. I haven't decided yet on a color theme, so I'm going to do that now after I place my photos. And I do have to apologize, throughout this video I realized that my spread is kind of off camera, but I do work on everything kind of directly in front of me. I pull things in front and work on them, so you will see every element basically being worked on. Okay, so I'm going through the paper. As you can see, I already went through the 3x4 cards, and going through the 6x8 papers, I've decided to settle on this blue, pink, teal, purple kind of theme. This spread is all about my daughter and myself. My husband in the summer is super busy, and there are definitely weeks where he does not make the cut because he's just not around. He's just too busy working. So as we usually get into mid to late summer, it tends to be a lot of photos of my daughter and I and what we have going on. Well, and now it's daughters because, again, this is a catch-up and we're 2 years later almost, so we have another little one in the picture. Okay, so I've just decided to go ahead and start cutting out the papers. I really liked the pink with the little, it has a faint polka dot. It might be hard to see in the video, but there's just a small polka dot on that pink paper. And I really liked that with the purple card. I swap it out a few times. I try it with the teal blue grid paper, but I loved the pink because it really helped to pull out the colors in my daughter's bike and in her helmet, and it really just went well with the purple. I do go a little more stamp heavy this week than I typically do, which I love. I love using the stamps, especially out of this kit. The stamps just worked perfectly with the sentiments. This was the week that my daughter learned how to ride her bike for the first time without any help. And it was kind of a big thing because she had been really freaking out about it, and it was well past the time she should be able to ride without training wheels. Or actually what we had done was pulled the pedals off her bike and then gave her the confidence in balance, and then we put the pedals back on. So this was a big deal. You can see the card I'm working on here. I really want to use these speech bubbles. They're so fun, and I really try hard to work in the speech bubbles, and ultimately they don't make the cut. I go over to paper labels. But before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit about this card, or rather this 4x6 that I'm working on here. You can see that I have that little scan QR code, and the way I do that throughout my book, and I'm sure in 5, 10, 20 years, if anybody even cares about these scrapbooks, that this might be an obsolete route to go, but for right now it works. So what I do is I go through, and when I organize all my photos, if I have any small videos, any snippets that I want to make sure to include, I go ahead and I upload those to Vimeo. And then what I'll do is I'll create the QR code, and then I will download a JPEG of it and make sure that that gets included into the photos that I want to print. And that way, if somebody is going through the book and they wanted to see the little video of her learning to ride her bike the first time, they could simply pull out their phone and scan the QR code, and then they're going to be able to watch that little video. I think it's a really fun, interactive way to add videos into our documenting. So if you're not already doing that, maybe I would challenge you to give that a try. If you are including videos in your scrapbooks, I would love to know if you're doing something different, so go ahead and post a comment below and tell us how you're documenting videos in your book. Okay, back into the process. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and pulled out these labels. These are pre-printed, they do come with the kit, and I've trimmed them out. And then I'm just trying to work out how I want to stamp and document some of these photos. The photo I'm working on right now of my daughter and our dog, I catch them sleeping in nearly the same position so many times, and I love including that in our book. Now I've gone back into the kit and looked at the small gray phrase stickers, and I kind of looked through them all, and I didn't really find anything that made sense for this week's spread. I also have that sheet of puffy stickers, and I will come back to those. There are a few things, even though this was a November kit and it was more about gratitude and just being grateful and documenting those, which I'm always trying to document gratitude, and pretty much every week you can find something to be grateful for. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that's a really versatile kit. But the puffy stickers had quite a few things that fit in with what I was trying to document for this week. Okay, so I have gone in and pulled out some 3x4 cards that I have printed. They're digital cards that I got from In a Creative Bubble, and I pre-print these, and I keep a stack of those on my desk for this exact moment where I am kind of stuck and I feel like I just need to maybe pull in something else. So I've gone through the stack, I've pulled one of those out. Ultimately, I don't use it. I do go back to the original journal card I had. Next, I'm working on this 3x4 collage card. I don't know what to call that, but it was really the focal point of the whole spread for that week. So I do spend a lot of time on that card. And I've gone into my stash and I pulled out these small alphabet stamps, and I contemplated coloring them in with maybe my gel pens or souffle pens, but I really kind of just liked the way they looked, just left open. So I'm going to spell out "Watch This" onto this 3x4 card. What I love about that little stamp set is that it also has numbers, and I really can't remember where I got them from. I'll try to find that out and make sure I link below if they are still something that is available or I can find something comparable. So I have the 3x4 card that has the video QR code done, and now I'm just going to finish up the other side of this. And I loved this stamp. It says "Yes, girl," and I was okay with it not fitting entirely inside the label. I actually kind of like the way it looked, just being placed over top of the label. Now I want to make sure that I'm including these little vellum stars that I had gone through and picked out, and I end up putting this label down in the wrong spot, and you'll see in the end I have to fiddle with it and peel it up. But before I get to that part, I need to work out how I'm going to get these stars stuck down. And so I pulled out my Xyron machine, and as I was pulling the larger stars through this, I realized that they just barely fit. And it got me thinking, so I actually am probably going to be sharing this in the next upcoming weeks, but I decided after I did this process that I was going to find a larger Xyron machine, which are not that easy to find right now. And I'm not even sure if maybe they're just not making them or I just didn't have any luck finding them. So what I ended up finding on Amazon was a very large refill for, I think it's like a 5 or a 5.5 inch Xyron. And I worked out by looking at my own that I didn't actually need the casing, the machine, so to speak. You can just simply use the refill and it works just fine. So I actually bought the refill. I think it was like under $15, and now I can do really wide stickers. So I'll make sure to post something about that in the next upcoming weeks when I use that again. So I'm just trying to fiddle around with these stars, and here's where I realize I don't love the placement of this purple star, and I do pull it off, and I pulled out my little rubber adhesive eraser, and when I did that, it actually pulled up the color on the paper. So I just fixed it by moving the tag over and reapplying the star, and I love that placement so much more. I'm so happy I took the time to do that. Now to put this in my book, all I simply do is just flip them over and washi tape them together. Because once they're in the book, they're really not going to be moving. Nobody's pulling these cards out to look at them, and I always have something on the back side. So I don't really feel the need to glue them down to another separate piece of paper or card. And I just trim up the edges to make them even, and now they look like they were one card. Next, I'm going to work on the 4x6 at the bottom of the spread here of my daughter riding her bike later that week. And I'm just going in and going to use another label. I have to spend some time prepping my stamps. This, as you could see from the beginning, was a new set. And the easiest way to do that is to just use a sand eraser. I learned that trick from Dearly D, and it has been a really awesome trick to make sure that stamps are nice and crisp and to season them up. The other thing that I have done is trim. When I trimmed this blue label, I don't know what the shape is called on those corners where it's kind of rounded in, but it's a pain to cut if you're doing it by hand, and I'm like really bad at it. So I just trim them to be straight edges, and I'm completely happy with that. Now I've pulled out these amazing puffy stickers. I love these star puffy stickers. They're one of my favorites. And I've also got, it's a great sheet because it's also got the little hearts. And I'm just plunking those down around the page. You can see I've pulled that 3x4 card out from the journal card from In a Creative Bubble. Pulled that back out. Decided I'm going to keep with the journal card. I do go through them again just to be sure, but in the end I do keep the journal card that came with the kit. You can see I've come back now to these puffy stickers, and I pull out a few that I think are going to work well with my photos. I'll do another change in the end. I put this little triangle down here, and I'll come back to that and add something different because I don't love how that gray color, purple gray color fits in. I want to kind of mirror what I have on the photo of my daughter and our dog with the white puppy sticker. So I will go back in and I will change that. Next, I'm working on this pink 3x4 card, and I have this idea from one of the stamps has a longer sentiment, and I really loved it, so I wanted to stamp it onto a label. But what I want to do is I want to mask it off so that I'm not stamping the whole sentiment across. I want to stack it. So I'm just going to put down some washi tape and use that to help me mask off the label so that I'm not stamping over the whole thing. I had a little bit of a difficult time trying to figure out where the sentiment was, what it said, and making sure I didn't stamp it upside down. And when I go to remove this washi tape, I ripped the tag and the paper, and it was frustrating. So I went back in and pulled out another tag. And this time I am not going to washi tape it down. I'm going to come up with a different plan, and I'm just going to use a piece of paper to mask it off. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I get it roughly in the center. So I just take a pencil and make a light pencil mark, and I'm going to use that to help me create a guide. Oh, I'm so happy that this worked out. I really didn't want to have to go and find another label. So I just need to trim off the corners, and I just love how this turned out. It says, "Don't overlook life's small joys," and ain't that the truth? It also gave me this opportunity to highlight one of these puffy stars that I absolutely love. And then I'm going to go ahead and add one over here to my journal card. I'll just put a little heart on there, and then you can see here's where I go in and I pull off that puffy sticker and add a different one, just so everything is cohesive. Next, I'm going to work on my title card, and I pulled out these stamp sets, or rather the stamp set, and then I had pre-printed out on some clear sticker paper just a bunch of different digital stamps, and this is actually the word week in my own handwriting. I have my own handwriting as a font on my computer, and it was just way too big, and once I have it down, I realized too big, I don't love that, and I pull out this stamp set, and ultimately I go back to that little one. And it makes complete sense. It helps to tie everything in, especially since the 4x6 at the top of my spread, the sentiment that says "oh my" has the same look to it, and I just wanted to carry that through. So I'm using my trick again where I put an F in place of the second E, and that helps me with spacing, so I can just get this done in 2 swipes. I almost stamped the 3 backwards. Thankfully, I took a moment to think about that and double checked it. I went back to the stamp set just to see if there was a hashtag mark, and there wasn't, but I thought I might have added that if there had been. I thought about using my roller stamp, but after having masked off the label stamp, I just didn't have it in me to do any more masking or fiddling with that. So instead I just handwrite it in, and then I want to bring in 1 more of these puffy stickers just to tie it all together and to put 3 on the page. I really like having things in 3s and 5s. The last thing I need to do is my journaling and put the cards in the pockets, and I am all done. Working with a kit makes everything so much simpler. I am so happy that I had this kit to work with. Even though it was a November kit, which typically is about gratitude and being thankful, I was still able to pull everything together and make a summer spread. So always be sure to look at your kits in the most versatile way possible. Thanks again for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel, and then finally, don't forget to hit that little bell so you get notifications when new videos are posted. Thanks for watching. Take care.